Honey Island Swamp Monster, the Louisiana Swamp Beast Crocodile Footprints. It was a hot summer night in Louisiana. We sat on a small boat, silently drifting through the waters of Honey Island Swamp. All around us was thick darkness, broken only by the faint beam of a flashlight sweeping across ancient cypress trees draped in silver-gray moss. The steady hum of insects, the echo of frogs, and the occasional ripple of water from an alligator slipping below the surface filled the air. That atmosphere, both beautiful and terrifying, was the very birthplace of one of Louisiana's most mysterious legends. A towering, shaggy creature with a foul stench and glowing yellow eyes like fire. People have called it by many names, but the most famous remains, the Honey Island Swamp Monster. This is not just a tale to scare children. It has been recorded by numerous eyewitnesses, supported by film footage and strange footprints, and has lived in the imagination of Louisiana for decades. Tonight, I want you to join me on this journey, one that is both legend and unsolved truth. Honey Island Swamp, the land of shadows. Before we speak of the monster, let me take you to the land where it was born. Honey Island Swamp lies northeast of New Orleans, stretching across more than 70,000 hectares, one of the most pristine wetlands in the United States. It is a world of still black waters, ancient cypress trees rising from the depths like claws, and tangled vines hanging down to form a thick natural curtain. By day, this swamp is hauntingly beautiful. You might see white herons gliding overhead, alligators basking on logs, or groups of turtles sunning themselves. But when night falls, the scene transforms completely. A thin veil of mist spreads across the waters, the sounds of nature turn eerie, and anyone who has ever drifted through here by boat can feel an invisible fear creeping in. It is here, in this endless darkness, that the Honey Island Swamp Monster is said to dwell. The first time the monster was mentioned. The legend of the Honey Island Swamp Monster does not come from ancient times, it is tied to the 20th century. The most famous name in this story is Harlan Ford, a retired pilot from Eastern Airlines. A man who loved nature, he often ventured into the swamp to observe wildlife. And in 1963, on one such trip with his friend Billy Mills, he encountered something that would change his life forever. Ford claimed that through the mist, they saw a gigantic figure, towering over 2 meters tall, its entire body covered in shaggy brown-gray hair, with glowing yellow eyes. A horrible stench radiated from it, making him nearly choke. Ford was terrified, yet he could not look away. The creature stared at them for a few seconds before disappearing into the forest. When they approached the spot, Ford and his friend discovered enormous footprints in the mud. Each was nearly 30 centimeters long, but the strangest detail was that they only had 4 toes. Ford photographed the tracks, brought them back, and from that day forward, the Honey Island Swamp Monster became his lifelong obsession. In 1974, Ford even managed to capture a blurry film of the creature. Though the quality was poor, the footage caused a stir among the public. Many believed it was genuine proof, while skeptics dismissed it as a hoax. But from that moment on, the legend of the Honey Island Swamp Monster had officially stepped into the light. Appearance and strange features. According to dozens of eyewitnesses, the Honey Island Swamp Monster resembles Bigfoot but with its own unique traits. Height, around 2 to 2.5 meters, towering above any human. Body, covered in shaggy brown-gray hair, matted with mud and swamp debris. Odor, an unbearable stench, like rotting animal carcasses mixed with swamp mud. Eyes, glowing yellow, shining in the dark. Footprints, unusually large, with only 4 toes, completely unlike humans. Many Cajun locals in Louisiana believe that the smell itself is the creature's signature. To them, catching a whiff of that foul odor is the surest sign that the monster is nearby. Eyewitness stories. This legend would never have become so captivating if it relied only on Harlan Ford's account. Over the decades, countless other witnesses have come forward. One fisherman claimed that while paddling his boat at night, he saw a massive dark figure standing on the water's edge. When he shone his flashlight, a pair of glowing yellow eyes flashed back at him, and the creature let out a terrifying roar that made his whole body tremble. A family living near the swamp once reported strange noises around their stilt house. Their dog barked furiously and then, all of a sudden, fell silent. Moments later, a putrid stench filled the air, so overwhelming that the family shut their doors tight and huddled together in fear until morning. Tourists on guided swamp tours have also claimed to hear distant roars deep, echoing like those of some massive wild beast. The guide only smiled and said, "It could be a bear, or it could be the Honey Island swamp monster." Stories like these, even without solid proof, continue to fuel the flames of legend. Theories about its origins. There is no shortage of theories surrounding the existence of the Honey Island swamp monster. A southern Bigfoot, many researchers believe it is simply a relative of Bigfoot, but one that has adapted to the swamp environment. Runaway circus monkeys. Local lore tells that many years ago, a circus boat sank in Louisiana. The monkeys escaped, somehow interbred, and gave rise to this bizarre creature. A prehistoric survivor, some speculate that it is a descendant of giant apes that supposedly went extinct millions of years ago. Illusion and folklore. Skeptics argue that it is nothing more than imagination fueled by darkness, fog, and the strange sounds of the swamp. No matter the theory, no one can deny that the four-toed footprints and the foul stench remain mysterious elements still unexplained. From fear to cultural symbol. Today, the Honey Island swamp monster is more than just a frightening legend. It has become a cultural icon and even a tourist attraction. Swamp tours are often intertwined with the monster's tale. Guides recount old anecdotes, pointing out spots where footprints were once found. Tourists, caught between fear and excitement, listen in silence where even the slightest sound can make someone jump. The image of the Honey Island swamp monster now appears on t-shirts, caps, posters, and souvenirs. It has moved far beyond the realm of being just a monster, transforming into a unique brand of Louisiana. Why do people need these legends? You might ask, does a swamp monster really exist? Perhaps not. But what matters more is that legends like the Honey Island swamp monster enrich our imagination. They remind us that nature still holds mysteries waiting to be uncovered. In a wild and untamed place like the Louisiana swamps, people can't help but feel small. This legend serves both as a warning – be careful when venturing deep into the woods and as a piece of cultural identity. It binds the community together, a story for parents to tell their children, for guides to share with tourists, and for the people of Louisiana to proudly say they have their own Bigfoot. A journey without an ending. To this day, there is no scientific proof confirming the Honey Island swamp monster's existence. Yet no one has been able to prove it doesn't exist either. And it is precisely this uncertainty that makes the legend immortal. Imagine, one night, drifting on a boat across Honey Island swamp. Mist cloaks the water, black and silent, while your flashlight cuts across the gloomy cypress trees. Suddenly, a roar echoes from the distance deep, heavy, shaking the surface of the water. What would you believe? That it was merely a wild animal? Or that the Honey Island swamp monster is still watching you from the shadows? The Honey Island swamp monster is more than just a beast. It is the embodiment of primal fear, boundless imagination, and the cultural soul of Louisiana. And if one day you find yourself in New Orleans, try joining a boat tour through the Honey Island swamp. Listen closely to the sounds of the night. Peer deep into the heavy fog, for who knows, somewhere out there, those glowing yellow eyes might be watching you. And when you leave the swamp behind, this story will follow you forever, a reminder that the world is still full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered.